be honest, motherhood is definitely the most rewarding job on this planet, but it also has its fair share of hardships and struggles. And I'm just hoping this video will offer you a little bit of hope and, provide you with tips that I know have helped in my own life. Hey everyone, welcome to Mom for Every Season, helping you live your most heart-centered and extraordinary mom life. So today's video, I'm just sharing with you some tips on what to do when you are feeling lost in motherhood. And you are kind of in this identity crisis and you don't know who you are anymore. So I just want to offer you some hope that you are not alone in this feeling. Before I jump into the tips, I just wanted to share two things just to keep in mind. Just know that this journey, or however way you show up in motherhood and for yourself, is going to be different at different stages of motherhood, and it's going to be different for each mom. So if you've just had a newborn, the steps you take is going to look so different than if maybe a mom who has older kids, and every little bit counts. So maybe if you are sleep deprived, you might not be able to take as much time for yourself, but just know that every little step counts and it will get better as it goes along as well. Also to know that as you move through different stages and transitions in your life, like that it's okay to almost feel sad or grieve your former life, because I know that even if you've just had a new baby, like that's a huge intense period that you also, while you're trying to learn your new baby, you're also trying to learn your new identity as a mom. So it's okay to grieve the previous life you had, the former life. And this can show up even if you've had more than one child too. Like I know even for myself, when we had our second, there was a part of me that missed having an only child, and part of me was sad that I wasn't able to pour all my attention into my first anymore, that my love had to be kind of spread between the two of them. And then again when we had our third, and it's a huge transition whether you are having your first or your fourth or fifth or etc., that you're going into new routines, you're going into new transitions, and it's just a whole new stage of life. So honor your feelings around it and know that it's okay to feel that way. So with that, let's jump right into the tips. Tip number one is cultivate space. And this can show up in so many different ways. Obviously, as moms, we know that we need more self-care. Like it's all over the place. It's that trendy word right now and in the past decade probably, that moms need more self-care. It's all over Pinterest and it's, on Instagram, self-care Sundays, and all over blogs and everything. And I've posted stuff too on self-care, and I am not diminishing self-care at all because I'm very much passionate about it and we all know we need it. For moms, it's all over mom culture. It is in our faces, and we all get it. We know that we have to take care of ourselves to be able to show up as a better mom. But if you are feeling lost in motherhood, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling exhausted, you might not even know what self-care looks like for you. You might not know how to take care of yourself. So how do we go about taking care of ourselves and feeling like ourselves again if we have no idea who we are anymore? You may not even know what you like anymore. You don't know who you are outside of motherhood anymore. You don't know your likes, your dislikes. You may not have any dreams anymore, like nothing, because you are caught in, again, this hamster wheel of routines and everyday life. So in order to be able to figure that all out, you need to create that space for it to show up. So this can come up in different ways, of course, but it's really creating boredom and creating empty space, because that's kind of where the magic is going to happen. And that's where you're going to be able to tune into yourself more. But if you're constantly caught in busyness or chaos in life, especially motherhood, there will be no opportunity for that to come up. So it's really about cultivating a practice, cultivating rituals kind of around that. And it can be so simple. Right now, I have just this practice of being bored. And I did this because I noticed that I was filling every aspect of my life with something that either one, distracted me, or two, made me feel productive. So for instance, I was, while I was washing the dishes, I was listening to a podcast because I felt like, I was enriching my life. Or folding laundry and watching a YouTube video. Or the worst part is I would get caught up in breastfeeding, but then playing on my phone. And because I was sitting there bored, because as a mom, especially if you have young ones, you're sitting there endlessly feeding them, that you can get caught in this whole need of filling that space with something to distract you. So for me, I had to kind of really honor this empty space and just let my thoughts wander, because I wanted to create more things and have more ideas and insights and tune into what I wanted, or what dreams I have for my family and all of that. And you can't create any of that if there's no space for it. So really sitting down, and I love journaling and I am so passionate about it. I have a few videos on journaling that I can link in the description box down below, or I can put a card right here. What I love about journaling is that it is not your thoughts on pages, but it has to, it slows your thoughts down enough for you to sit there and write them out. But you can, prompt yourself again, what do you like? What do you dislike? What brought you joy before motherhood? What brings you joy now in motherhood? What you want and what you desire, your hopes and your dreams. What am I curious about, and what do I want to bring more into my life? How do I want to feel? All those things. There's just like endless amounts of prompts you can look up online, and sometimes you may have to write more than once. Maybe coming back to it, it will bring in so much insight into what you need to do, what you want to do for self-care, how you want to show up in motherhood and how you want to show up for yourself. So again, cultivating space and empty space. Tip number 2 comes in 2 parts, but it's all about connection. So the first part kind of goes hand in hand with cultivating that space. So once you've, cultivated that and realized kind of what you've wanted to do, it's to follow through, and it's to reconnect to yourself and reconnect to what you love doing. It's finding something that you enjoyed prior to motherhood and following through. So maybe you want to take a dance class or start a new hobby, maybe start a YouTube channel. I know for me, this gives me a whole sense of purpose outside of motherhood, and that, I hope I'm helping other moms to live a better life and to live a more fulfilled life. It's so important for your kids to see this, especially I find for my girls. I want them to be able to see that I am taking time for myself and that my dreams matter too. I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I also have my own dreams and desires, and I want my girls to see, and I want my son, of course, too, to see that, I am my own person outside of motherhood, and really find it empowering for them, my girls, to see that I am taking time for myself, and to know that, if they ever choose to become moms, that it will be okay for them to see that too. Just finding something that can connect you back to yourself and your identity outside of motherhood, because it's whatever you love and whatever brings you joy. And the second part of 2 is, again, it goes along with connection, but is making sure that you are still maintaining your connections outside of motherhood. And this is sometimes really hard, because even going on dates with your spouse or going out with friends, like, you tend to talk about your children, or, someone will ask you, well, how are you doing? And you talk about your kids. But just knowing that, when someone asks you that you matter too, that your feelings and your wants, those matter as well, just as much as your kids. And I mean, it's just our second nature to talk about our kids and all of that, but it's really reestablishing the connections and the relationships that you had before you were a mom, and maintaining that, because our kids are only going to be in our house for so long. And then once, they're gone and they're out of the nest, we won't have anything left if we haven't poured into our other relationships, especially your marriage and just even your friends that you had before you were a mom, and just getting that, sense of support and community. Number 3 is gratitude. And this one can definitely be a tough one, because if you are feeling lost in motherhood, or you are, trying to find yourself in motherhood, there are probably a whole bunch of other emotions that are coming up as well, and whether that is at your spouse or your children, but things like resentment and jealousy and anger, rage. And I mean, I've had my fair share of these emotions as well in my motherhood journey, my marriage journey. they have shown up. So you are not alone in this. And again, same thing with the grieving and the sadness. It is okay to feel this way. But the antidote to all of these is gratitude. And because the thing about all of these toxic emotions and negative thinking is that you are essentially training your brain over and over and over again to look for the same things. Our brains like to look for the same things. They like routine. They like, the certainty, and when you are looking for these things, it's just, making those neural pathways deeper to look for those negative things. And our brains are just naturally negative thinking. And there's like a ton of science on this that I won't get into, but the antidote to that is gratitude. So just being able to, take at the end of your day, just finding 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you're grateful for in your spouse, 3 things you're grateful for in your children, whatever you can do, 3 in each area of life. And it brings you, and this gratitude also brings you a level of acceptance in motherhood. And, being able to embrace kind of the stage you're at, the season you're in, is also important. To know that there's hope on the other side, and that the time you're going through is very much needed, because it's bringing awareness to kind of what you need and what direction you need to go in life. So just even bringing appreciation into your struggles as well, I know has helped me personally too. Gratitude literally creates space around all those positive experiences, and it leaves less room for ruminating all those toxic emotions like resentment and jealousy. Because gratitude activates those regions in your brain that release dopamine. And dopamine is like the feel-good neurotransmitter that makes you feel more optimistic, more positive. Obviously, it's important to honor those feelings that you have and not to dismiss them. It's not about positive thinking, but it's about just appreciating where you are at right now, where you are in motherhood, where you are in your stage of life, because there's always things to appreciate. But it's because, it's hard, because you can sit there and train yourself to see that, your partner didn't take the garbage out, or your partner, didn't do the dishes, or that your kids are misbehaving all the time. And when you're constantly thinking of all of those negative things, that builds up, and then your brain just looks for more. Or your gratitude journal is gonna help you seek out positive experiences and seek out the loving moments, and just even the little moments. It's just gonna help you and open up your mind to so much more. Number 4 is taking that mom roll taking that mom roll hat off. I've gotten caught in this so many times, but motherhood can, be all consuming, and it takes up so much space and so much time that everything is about motherhood. So being able to take your mom roll hat off, it's like you just get your kids finally in bed or your baby, and they're sleeping, you have some time to yourself. And I've been caught just sitting there scrolling. I'm looking at Pinterest, or looking, at Google at what's the next milestone that my baby's gonna reach? Or I'm gonna look at sensory bins, or how can I, maybe you're watching this YouTube video, obviously it's about motherhood. But again, you're taking up some of your time that is still in the motherhood role, and that you still have that mom hat on. So being able to take that hat off and pouring some time into other areas of your life other than motherhood. So maybe, again, creating a hobby, or doing gardening, or going for a walk, and not thinking about your kids, which I know is completely hard not to think about your kids. Our kids are our worlds, and same thing, we are their worlds to them. But the thing is, if you don't exist outside of motherhood, then it's gonna affect their world as well. So take that time to enjoy some time, unwind, take a break, take your mom roll hat off for the sake of your own children, and it will most definitely affect other areas of your life, because again, we are not meant to do this job 24/7. All right, don't be afraid to share what your biggest struggle in motherhood is in the comments down below. I would love to know, and of course it helps, show other moms in the comment section that they are not alone in this. and we are all in this together. It brings so much awareness when we can all share. Make sure you check out these videos here for more mindful motherhood and intentional parenting videos. And of course, if you are brand new, I would love for you to stick around and hit that subscribe button. That is the greatest form of support that you can offer this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope these tips were helpful and you enjoyed them. If you do, make sure you like this video. Bye for now.